We're live.
We're live.
Mike's
Okay.
on.
All right. I'd like to call the May 27, 2026 Data Center Subcommittee meeting to order. If you would, please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Todd, would you do a roll call for us, please?
Randy Atkins,
Here.
Gary Duckwall,
Here.
Molly Early,
Here.
Kel Grindle,
Here.
Ed Hartman,
Here.
Nolan Holloway, Bud Shelton.
Here.
Okay. One thing we missed at the last meeting was the meeting summary. Todd had prepared a meeting summary. I don't know whether you guys have that, ladies, guys and ladies have that. Okay,
4-page.
it's a 2-page, back, front and back. It was just simply a summary of what the first meeting was. So we can put that on hold. I'm gonna give this to Dallas Street. You got other copies, right?
Yeah.
This is something that he's requested, so I'll hand him personally this data summary meeting from our first meeting. I don't know whether everyone had an opportunity to look through it or not, or whether we need, I don't know, we need an official approval of it unless you folks want us to do that. Are we good? Okay. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. This is a subcommittee meeting to review a data center ordinance draft. I want to note that this is a volunteer committee. No one on this committee is getting paid to serve on this committee. We are simply volunteers. The subcommittee is composed of 3 community members, Marley Early, Bud Shelton, and Nolan Holloway, who's not with us tonight. APC members, Ed Hartman, Gary Duckwall, Kel Grindle, and myself, Randy Atkins. Subcommittee decisions are non-binding. We're simply an advisory committee is what we are. Our goal is to review the ordinance draft by section and/or page, honor community input, and discuss and revise the draft if needed. We will target ending tonight's meeting at 8 o'clock. We will schedule another subcommittee meeting if needed. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name, and sign the sign-in sheet with your name and address if you'd like to speak. We ask that you keep your comments specific to the section being discussed, and please be respectful of others who may choose to share as well. We're going to ask that comments not relevant to the ordinance draft can be made during the agenda item. It was number 6, it's number 4 tonight for public input. So we're really going to try and target the draft discussion is what we're going to target. If there's other comments that you'd like to make the general public outside of what's on the draft, we would ask that you hold those till the end of the meeting. Once we have reviewed and discussed the ordinance and made revisions if needed, it will be presented to the APC for their review and recommendations. Upon receipt of an APC recommendation, the data center ordinance will be presented to the commissioners for their approval. Anybody have any questions in regard to what I've just shared with you? Hearing none. All right. So subcommittee members, we could briefly, if there's anything that you wanted to add or question about the first 7 pages that we covered at our last meeting, we would do that briefly. Otherwise, we will move to page 8. And I think we left off at letter F, noise and vibration.
I want to go back to page 2.
Let's go back to page 2, Mr. Hartman's requesting.
Did we make a decision to have a cryptocurrency mining ordinance as well as a data center ordinance? It seems like the 2 could be in one. cryptocurrency, I know it does different things than data centers necessarily, but it uses the same equipment, uses water for cooling, uses a lot of electricity. I'd heard once they're the biggest electrical user in Grant County. Do you know if that's correct?
I do not know if it's the largest.
Okay.
When I visited the site early last year, they mentioned their electric bill was very close to $1 million a month.
Goodness gracious. So I think
That's just the verbal.
they're kind of
Pretty big
similar.
user.
That's
And
a
they're
big-
small. They would be considered not a big data center, right? Compared to what we're hearing is being built nowadays.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But they have grown a lot from when they were first put out there with just a couple of units. Now I think there's about 40 of them out there.
Well, they tapped what the grid had available to them, and then the grid gave them more, so they expanded.
Yes. So, I mean, okay, anyway. I was thinking I don't know the differences are that great that we would need a different ordinance for them. And it says here, they'd be excluded from the definition of data center and shall be regulated separately. I wondered if we wanted to stay with that.
I know we had discussion.
Yeah,
I don't think we made a final decision on it. I think it was a little back and forth. Some of us thought they should be separate, some of us thought they should be included. I think it should be included because the equipment's the same. The job they do inside the building may be a little different, but the equipment's all the same.
I think where we left it, and maybe you want to revisit it, but we left it with, it was a decision that's not within our bailiwick. We were tasked with the data center. And I believe Randy might have said that was a good comment. But we can suggest that they look at the Bitcoin also. Ultimately, it's the decision above us. But, it's just input.
Subcommittee members?
I think we should leave it separate because the technology and the hardware advances way quicker than government can. Because in its own separate ordinance, we wouldn't have to revise this one in case we need to make changes.
What do you think you would put in that differently, the cryptocurrency, than what's in this one?
I don't know. I think if we don't know, and I think probably most of us don't know, maybe we should keep it separate. We could certainly use the vast majority of what we come up with the same one. But I think we should, like he said, we should just, our focus is data centers right now, and I think we should just focus on that.
Now, let me throw you a curve. Let's say that we don't have it included in this and it doesn't apply to our moratorium, and we've got a cryptocurrency wants to come in here tomorrow and build. We don't have any regulations to stop them
or to regulate them
or to regulate them.
in any way.
Same thing will happen with solar at the same time.
Well, but that would require, if we're not going to throw this in the same bucket with what we're doing with our 6-month not receiving applications, we don't have anything in the books to stop them.
Who gave the moratorium on the data center?
Those commissioners, but now keep in mind, we're not writing on their moratorium. We're writing on our resolution giving the Area Planning Commission the right to hold applications for 6 months while we develop an ordinance. So I'm gonna suggest that we follow Ed's lead. If we want to pull it out when we get a little closer, let's do that. But I think we can protect the county based on the actions that we have in place now by including it. Anybody disagree with that?
Well, my only concern would be that the that wasn't included in this and that this committee really has no power.
We're doing this. We're doing this ordinance.
Yeah, but we're pushing it up, right?
Oh, yeah, this is gonna go up to the APC for approval.
That'd be my concern is if we were overstepping our bounds, but.
No, don't worry about that. They'll tell us after the fact.
They can change anything.
Yeah, they can change anything. And they're relying on us to have discussions with the community, and they're relying on us to put something together, that I would anticipate they'll support.
So
Parts of it.
what if we do add Bitcoin to this, and since it was not, the public was not given notice that this was going to include Bitcoin mining, would we not fall under some legal grounds there? Because somebody out there doesn't care about data centers, but they definitely care about crypto, and they weren't notified that there was going to be a public meeting about it. I think if we're going to talk about it, it's fine, but we should include it with the next public meeting, maybe, when we come back and revisit that specific part, maybe.
We're doing it right now. This is a public meeting. We're talking about it.
Okay.
This is different than a hearing notice for the public where zoning happens, things like that, where we have notified the public that the meeting is happening. But it's not, I don't think we require the 10-day specific notice for this portion.
Right, this is a public meeting. This is not considered a public hearing.
And it gives you any confidence, but the APC has given us their confidence in working through creating a draft to present to them. So I don't have any reservations about us making decisions that we feel, that's why we're here today, and the rest of the APC's not.
So we're here because the APC and not the commissioners?
Correct.
Right.
It's the APC's responsibility to create an ordinance to recommend to the commissioners for their approval. That's the APC's role. We have taken that role on for the APC as a subcommittee.
And if we did combine that with this one, what, if any, effects would it have on the current operation?
On the current operation of,
Bitcoin.
well, they're grandfathered in. Would you agree with that, Todd?
That's correct until I've heard rumors, again, just rumors, nothing in writing, that they have plans to expand. At that point,
Then it would,
Then it would affect.
that would, and it was in the news, they did do some upgrading of equipment that was stolen with a truckload of turkeys, along with that, last year in Chicago. They found it in Chicago. So they may not need to physically expand because they expanded their capacity from, and just better equipment. Do not know.
My recommendation would be, let's take Ed's recommendation and leave it or pull that statement out, which means that it can be included, and we get to later on down the road, and we feel like once we have more knowledge of what the differences may be, because if we don't have a reason to pull it out now, to create a separate ordinance, we could be months down the road, the burden on Todd and the APC to create another ordinance. That's my concern. I'm not having that much fun. I don't know about you guys, but
I think it seems a little redundant to create a separate ordinance for them.
Because most of it's gonna be this one anyway. The things that if we might wanna come up with something different for the cryptocurrency operation, we could probably put a paragraph in here for that.
right, once we've had the opportunity to do the research.
Yeah. If we feel there's something different that needs to be in there.
So Todd?
Yep.
We're taking that one out for now. I think that's the safest thing for us to do. Okay, anything else? Members?
Did we come to I don't know which page it was, did we come up with a number for the whatever setback away from a city, town, some mileage?
We had it there 3 miles, someplace.
I think, at the end, I have marked out 3 and put 5.
That's what I have.
Let's look at page 4. We did quite a bit of revision on page 4, where it says minimum lot size and setting standards, citing standards. I think we kicked around 300 and 100, and I think we ended up with 100, didn't we? Under number 2, maximum lot area will be 100 acres.
Yes, and then the setback, we put at a quarter mile.
Yes, 1420.
But I know that was where the math started coming in, because we wanted more strength in the setback than we did in the lot size.
And we're gonna leave it there until the math tells us that we have to move it,
Correct.
okay? And if we go down to G, we were gonna take out setbacks from the corporate limits of any city. No, it was that setback.
Yes, we discussed it being 5 miles, and then ultimately the decision was made for it to be, that's for line item G, under 5, the
Okay.
setbacks to be removed.
Okay, everybody good with that?
So we're gonna go 5 miles?
Yes.
I haven't marked out that we were getting rid of G in general.
Yes,
That's what I did.
yes,
So we're taking G out?
yes, that's what I marked out,
All right.
that's what the ultimate
That's part
decision
of it
was.
marked out. Okay, so G's gone. Okay, anything else on page 4?
We took out D, or should we take out D, second side, 750 feet?
Well, my request was for E to not be more than on one side of a non-participating residential property. So if we did agree to that, then D makes no sense because they wouldn't be able to build on the second side.
Right, so D should be taken out.
Okay, taking D out?
E changes to not more than one side.
Correct, is what I had.
Everybody follow that? Anything else on page 4?
But, may I?
Yes.
So then C, we want to leave that at 500, or are we moving that to 1420?
I think we said 1420, correct? Because that's what made, to make it consistent for this one and consistent across the board from solar to CAFO to all of it was a quarter mile.
That's what I've got.
We need to be specific. Are we saying a quarter mile or are we saying 1420 because a quarter mile's 13?
1320, yeah. So,
Oops. What do we want? 1320?
I don't care. I'm okay with either one on that.
Kale?
Just to make sure the math's right.
What do you want, Kale?
I don't care, whatever you guys want.
But there was one other thing that we needed to change, was that it's from property line to property line. Todd and I were talking about that, and that makes the math okay. Because he was thinking the 1420 had to be within the property of the data center, and it doesn't.
Where you at, Ed?
Well, it's in the definitions, it states that it was, page 2,
the legal boundary of the parcel.
between a structure, use, or improvement. And so, it would be really property line of the data center to the property line of a residential, a residential property.
Are you on setback?
Property line.
Yes.
It's on setback, page 2.
Okay.
The minimum required distance between, that kind of sets the stage for, if it's from a structure, then to a property line or other specified boundary. See, that not sure where this definition actually came from, but it confused that setback, which in the solar is from property boundary to property boundary, be it a solar boundary line to then a residential boundary line. It's the distance in between those.
Do you have it written how you want to propose it?
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
We'd have
We'll work
to.
on that.
I mean, when I
Are you
look
with
back,
them?
Yes,
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
All right,
So basically, we're going to roll from property line to property line,
right.
okay.
regardless of zoning.
Yes, zoning's not
Right.
even right in that, really. Because it could both be zoned the same or differently.
From property line to property line.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, on page 5, we could consider at the bottom, data center connection to the electrical grid shall be limited to the use of power for routine office functions and fire suppression. Data center operations must be entirely self-sustaining with their own power infrastructure.
Where are you putting it? Just,
That's a D.
That's
That's bottom of page 5.
Under number 1, under infrastructure, power, and utility.
You know, it might be on 6 on your page. It's D, infrastructure, power, and utility coordination.
Which number?
Because there's 10 and then there's D.
Oh, okay, so you're right before D, okay.
Well, I was right after it. At the beginning of it. I should put that in there, in place of. Do you have data center, infrastructure, power, and utility coordination?
yes.
Okay, I just inserted it into there instead of what, all of this other stuff.
Different than mine. Yours is.
Because
Well, I
he
put
made
more
notes on the
stuff in
computer.
it with notes.
Oh, okay.
And I threw it all down. You know.
All right.
So,
So where's that at?
So it's
Right.
self-sufficient.
yeah, it's
Ed-
self-sufficient
Ed, can you repeat what you
instead of all this stuff.
All this.
Yeah, all of that.
Scratch that,
pretty
one
much
was
go away.
self-sufficient.
Yeah, and it's just, the data center connection to electrical grid shall be limited to the use of power for routine office functions and fire suppression. Data center operations must be entirely self-sustaining with their own power infrastructure.
So they're not tapping into the grid.
Right, except for, you know,
That's a good thing,
their office
except for their office.
and their fire suppression system.
That sounds good, but how can we, do we do that with any other business or industry in the county?
We haven't had somebody come up with this kind of need,
Yeah, this is,
you know.
we're creating the wheel here. Those challenge. We're not the only ones done this, Gil.
I understand, I'm just looking at it from, I'm just,
Yeah.
does any other industry, have you ever heard of this before, or anything else?
We're gonna do it till they tell us we can't.
What if the government comes back and says you can?
That's fine.
So we'll have to change it.
We'll change it.
Okay.
I think that a lot of these are now being built with natural gas anyway, so at least that's the trends that I've been seeing on the new plans in Indiana
To power them.
to power them, correct, with natural gas instead of, and so they're not pulling as much off of the grid. But again, that may also not be the most self-sufficient for them, but that's not a discussion for tonight.
Correct. One of these huge data centers will be using more power than the city of Marion and Gas City and surrounding communities combined. These things are enormous power draw. They'll probably build something that could supply us for additional needs.
The small ones, the megawatt hours that they typically use are enough to typically power about 50,000 homes. So the population in Grant County is only 68,000. So you want to, they would be the largest electrical user, no doubt about it.
Okay, anything else on page 5?
So are we adding,
Self-sufficient.
so under D, 1, 2, so all 9 points are gone?
We're gonna rework that.
Okay.
Reword it to where it applies to self-sufficient. Okay, page 6. The note that I have is on number 4, we were gonna take the board out and put the BZA.
Correct.
And I guess the question is on E, do we wanna keep it exclusive to closed loop and take the other possible cooling methods away?
Yeah,
Closed loop is, that was my suggestion.
Okay,
Last time, I don't think we made a decision on that.
well, okay, we've made it. We're taking out air cooled. We're gonna leave only closed loop in.
And that's under number 2.
That's 1 under cooling and water use.
So instead of it saying shall be disclosed in the application and all of that, including the number 2, then we're requiring them to do a closed loop cooling system
Correct,
and then still provide those plans.
correct. So that gets us to the back page of 8. Right, we changed 1 mile and 2 mile
Yes,
on 11.
we changed everything from annually to biannually as well, I believe, under that section.
Okay,
Did we? Okay. I wrote biannually, but that does not mean that.
what are we doing?
What was that?
That wherever it said annual on their reporting, that we made it biannual instead of annual.
2 times a year.
We may not even need a water usage report. Water testing or.
Well, yeah, I just want to mention on that.
When they test that, Bud, just like they were testing the boilers in a building, has to make sure that the,
Well, who would test it? That's the key, because if they're out in the country and it's on their own water supply, they wouldn't be required with 125 people to report to anybody. So I think if you wanted to report to somebody, the question is, who would it be? Would the health department handle that? I don't think IDEM would. I've talked to IDEM just a little bit, and they said that they don't put out anything that's measurable.
okay,
So it would, if we would really want to know what they're putting out, I think we ought to pretty much handle that ourselves.
then the health department,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, is that the best place?
What do you think, Todd?
I would say that they pay for the testing, whatever testing program we put up, and then those results of that testing then goes to area plan for review. But they need to pay for it. We don't wanna put this burden of all the testing that we wanna put in place. We don't wanna put that burden on the county.
We want okay. So would they turn it in, I think what Bud's suggesting, would they turn it in to health department for their review? Or what would we do with it when we receive it?
Then, yes, we would review it.
Okay,
Area plan would review it.
okay,
We'd put, and it should be fairly straightforward, and it would also be transparent for the public to be able to review it. And we would set criteria on parts per million of all the different things that they would test for whatever the measurement units are.
Right.
And this is what they'd look for. And if it goes over that, that comes into the enforcement part of this.
Okay, which will fall back to APC.
Yeah, and I can't remember on your concern with PFAS, they've actually tasked IDM to come up with some sort of standard for PFAS within the next year or two. So I think it's by the end of the year, but I don't have that data in front of me, so that is on the horizon.
Okay. So we'll get that in where it needs to be? Okay.
Well, I know, we also changed it on number 7 from acceptable to approved by, and then it's, because it said under cooling and water use, approved by county, but we changed it to approved by BZA on number 7.
Okay.
And that's another concern though, is when you're talking about the output of PFAS, it's mostly to drinkable water. Everything that is being put out there is for drinkable water. They haven't even, they tested, the sewage plant, I think, last year, and it was voluntary stuff, but water's a different animal, you know.
Do they test any discharge water once it's gone through the plant?
No, not for PFAS or anything. That's such a new thing that it was so big they didn't know how to handle it yet.
I like it, yeah.
Okay.
It's been around since the 50s or so. So it's been around a while. They just didn't know how to tackle it. And they still.
It's been around since the plastic bottle.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, it's just become more and more in the news,
Yeah.
publicly
well,
available information.
I know IDEM still tests the old brag dump, so,
Yeah.
for PFAS every 5 years, so.
Well, I hate to say this, but it's in all kind of wrappers.
It's in
Cosmetics.
everything.
It's everywhere. It's on hamburger wrappers. That's why your cheese don't stick to it.
Okay.
So we've been consuming that for years.
Okay, any other comments before we move to letter F, noise and vibration, which is a new area for this meeting? The only comment that I wrote here is in number 1, where it talks about the measurement at nearest residential boundary. Is it possible that it could be some other kind of public gathering that we want to add public gathering to that?
Yeah, well, maybe. I pulled out a paragraph here and, for thought here. Because environmental noise is relentless, the threshold for what bothers people is much lower than the levels that cause physical hearing damage. The impacts of continuous 24/7 noise escalate through specific decibel ranges. 40 to 50, an example would be a quiet library, generally peaceful, and 30 is well below that. But the World Health Organization guidelines for community noise recommend keeping the nighttime indoor noise levels below 30 decibels for uninterrupted restorative sleep. Now, we're looking at something that runs 24/7. It won't be likely that it's any quieter at night than it is in the daytime. So you could say we got to try and make it less than 30 at the residential boundary, or no more than 30.
What's ambient in the county?
Don't know. It could be
I'd be
close to 30.
willing to bet it's way above 30.
But out in the county, it may not be. Unless you're talking an average, which is what you'd be talking, I assume, because every once in a while a car might go down a road and put it above 30 for a short period of time.
Does the county have a noise ordinance?
Yes, it does.
What does that say?
It's worthless.
It actually says that?
No. That's my opinion. Maybe I shouldn't give that, right? But anyway, it is measured at a half mile away from where the sound is coming from. You can have a lot of houses in a half a mile. So it's like between where you're measuring it from and where the sound is, and you're saying it's okay a half mile away, what about all the people that live in between? The sound keeps going down the further away it gets. And, we have put up a substantial 14, 20 foot setback, so ought to be able to get down to 30.
Well, we need to, I think before we set a number, we should figure out what ambient noise is out in the county, because we can't force them to be below ambient.
Yes. So I mean, like, if it's very quiet, it's quieter in the county than it is in the city. If it's very quiet, it should be easier to get there.
You proposing 30?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying, this is gonna be a little bit tricky.
Okay, so we're gonna put a question mark there, we're gonna move on.
Do we have the means to find out what it is at 2 miles? What the actual from any manufacturing would be?
Don't know how to measure it.
2 miles
The
away.
police force has.
Oh, they have a
county.
sound meter.
Yeah,
At least they did get one when we had an issue with sound once.
no,
But,
The county has one?
yeah, they did. The sheriff's office has one.
and they can find out what it is if the car goes by or whatever.
Now, determining the ambient amount, like, you would have to
Just,
take an hour or more and measure the average throughout that time period.
And you'd have to do it during different times of day too.
And I don't know if we really get to that. Yeah.
All right, we've got a question on sound.
So one of the things that I did, dig into, and I've seen the numbers that Ed talked about, and that's just as important, is the D, capital B, A, and the methodology in which it's measured. So if we don't put in the ordinance the right units of measure and how it is measured, it doesn't really matter what the number is, if it's 30 or 50, because you could be tenfold off of reality. Just to point that out, that the decibels, when we say decibels, there's like 3 different ways in which decibels can be measured, and then multiple measuring possibilities, if that makes sense. It's like difference between inches and feet.
Well, we should make it whatever the county noise ordinance, however they measure, make it the same as that.
About their, okay, we'll reference that here.
I would revise that one.
So,
Just
You
make it
can have
standard across the
something
board.
different here.
yeah. So when we go back and reference, and I think we're at the same decibel numbers that Ed was referencing there, we're in the same units, and that's important. It's a small detail, but it's very important that we're in the same units.
So what do you think, Todd? What do we want to do here?
I mean, I put 55 in as a placeholder. Like I said, a lot of these numbers, I just wanted to put in a hashtags and what the board do. I'm thinking 40.
You
40 is the safest thing because it's constant. It's the constant noise. There's a lot of references out there for the effect of constant noise. And some people are a lot more sensitive to it than others. You know, you got the individual component.
Okay.
I think 40 is a good number. It's, gives them the ability to work within that, but still have a strict restriction.
Okay, one thing I want you to understand is whenever this ordinance is passed by the commissioners, it becomes part of the area-wide zoning ordinance, so it trumps anything that's in there. So we don't have to necessarily align with anything that's in there. It will trump it.
Okay.
Good point.
Okay. Other comments?
Number?
40 it is with a question mark.
Okay.
We're firm about that.
Yeah,
Well, there'll be another review.
Until we
right?
find another study,
You'll
right?
find another study.
so I know this isn't necessarily scientific, but can we be quiet for just 3 seconds?
Yeah.
So we're at 35 decibel right here. And if I remember right from science class, every decibel is a doubling in the level of sound. Is that right?
Depending on how you measure it.
The wind noise is gonna be higher than 35. Yeah, of course, this isn't super accurate, but it's an app on my phone.
Okay,
Whatever the number is, I don't think we should make it unrealistically low. I don't know what number it is, but I think that we should do a little more research before we come up with a hard number on that.
It may make me unpopular, but the more unrealistic we can make this to prevent them from building in this county, the better off we are.
Well, then if we're gonna do that, then let's just say no data centers, that's it.
You can't do that. That one, there is a law against that. We can
Yes.
only do 6 months.
Yes,
We could.
try to do this so we don't get sued.
just remember one thing. It's the burden of who wants to challenge what we have in here for them to prove it. It's not our burden to prove it, it's theirs.
And the last part of that, of number 1, is unless a stricter limit is imposed as a condition of the approval. Remember, we're knocking off things that will be in the application for the special exception for a BZA board to approve. So they can look at this and depending on the situation, they can make it stricter.
On number 2, are we done with number 1?
Yep.
Okay. On number 2, for generator testing, is there a reason that we need them to be able to test on a Saturday? Can that not be done Monday through Friday, 8 to 6? I mean,
No reasoning.
Saturday's off.
yeah, I think that should be a Friday.
It almost feels like though, we're giving them an exception to the noise level. If they can run their generators at specific times.
Well, that's just for testing, not for use.
Yes. So, what's the assumption there?
Well, if they're on testing, they're probably using them,
Well,
right?
yeah,
So,
you have to run once in a while to make sure they run.
right.
Okay,
But I'm kind of like, that may need to just fall under the limit that we impose.
So if we're mandating that they create their own power, I would presume that their generators are gonna be running all the time anyways.
All the time anyway.
So it doesn't matter what day you say.
Right.
4 times, right?
That'd be really costly for them though, if they decided to power it on nothing but diesel generators.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
see
not a
that that's
good
even
option.
necessary to have. But, I mean, if you get, how many did you say, Ed, that they would run? That they would run? You said at one time it was 170 or something like that?
Well, up in Fort Wayne, yeah, they applied for
Well, if they got 100,
initially 34, and then later they came back and wanted to make it 178.
yeah.
And they currently have 70, 75 running.
Well, my point is just to this line, they're gonna be running generators all the time anyway.
Yeah.
That's why it's in there.
Needed help?
I don't have a problem with it being gone as long as we put, if that falls under that continuous operational noise.
Yes. So we could define generator testing as one option. Generator testing, make a definition of that is included as continuous operation.
Then that would then you could remove number 2 and that would be satisfied under number 1.
Well,
Right.
we're dictating that they're off the grid, right?
Yeah.
I'm clear on that, right?
So, you know, they might still have generators, backup diesel generators backing up their power plant. In case it goes down. Those that need to stay.
I guess I don't know enough about what they're doing because I thought there's all their power is coming from their generators.
Yeah. But what if their main natural gas turbines have to go down for repair or something and they want to back up? They got diesel generators to back that up.
Yeah,
And I'm just
yeah,
putting out possibilities.
yeah.
Leave it in. Number 3.
On part A, I put at developer's cost, adding that in, an acoustic study prepared by a qualified professional at developer's cost.
Anything else?
We're gonna leave that as the board.
I think it should be.
What board?
Should be
BZA.
BZA. I think that was the consensus last time, that anywhere it says the board should say the BZA.
Do you want to change that may to a will?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes it easier for an application.
Yep. We go with the rest of 3?
Or shouldn't that be shall? You're talking in legal speak.
Yeah. I wouldn't, yeah, outside of option.
Everybody okay with 3? Moving to 4.
I just made a note here for number 4, in doing some research of vibrations and the effects on buildings. I just thought that maybe it should be a little less. Cause the note I put in here, it says, unless the property is considered historic, then the vibration should not exceed 0.12 inches per second. Cause anything above 1.2 inches per second could damage a historic building.
That's the building that talks about the property line.
True,
And you're talking a quarter mile anyways.
true.
Where did the .3 come from?
That, I'd have to go back and look at my reference, right? But it's referenced at that minimum amount for structural damage.
Yeah,
Right, that's,
that's the
but you're
research I
talking
did.
about is a historic building that may be a little more fragile.
Correct. And some of those historic buildings are built directly on property lines or right next to a property line, so 50 feet's not gonna stop it from getting damaged, is what my thought was.
So what are you proposing, Molly?
That we consider the vibrations lower. Okay, you know, from maybe it needs to be, instead of a historic building or something of that nature, that a request could be made like like we did up above, unless a stricter limit is imposed as a condition of approval. Just that line would then cover.
Other members, thoughts?
But at the application process, how are you gonna know? They're gonna be able to tell you, oh, sure, we can do that.
So that rolls back to enforcement.
But that's
And when we
after,
get to enforcement,
that's after the fact.
right, so they would present the study to begin with. This is an estimate, right? Based on whatever, however they want to put it together, but there'll be engineers put their stamp on it, or the BZA won't believe it at all. And then when they go to put it in practice, if it doesn't meet that, then that turns into what we put in the enforcement part. But by that time, we've got a huge investment already involved.
Exactly.
So they're going to have thought about that before they ever take a shovel with the first scoop of dirt.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with some of these huge companies, I read one article where they built it and the neighborhood, you know, big problem with all the noise they were putting out. And there was, you know, complaining, and then finally the company said, okay, we'll fix it. And they came in and did a lot of work and added, I don't know, sound deadening materials supposedly to the facility. And then when they were done, the residents said, it's just as bad as it was. And they basically just left and said, live with it. It's too bad. And what are you gonna do with that big company? You gonna sue them? You gonna try and close them? I mean, this is a real tough situation on trying to make sure it's gonna work right before it's even started. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like we need to be assured they can do it correctly. We need to see another facility that they've built that is actually working as it should be without making all that noise. So that we have some assurance they could do it at our place as well. And not just say when it's all done, well, okay, we'll try and fix it, and then, well, tough.
Are we still talking about number 4?
We are.
We are.
We're ready to move.
What, are we changing something?
I just think the line, unless a stricter limit is imposed as a condition of approval, should be added.
Could be for historical or any kind of sensitive sites.
Correct.
We'll add that in there so the BZA at that time will think about that.
Correct.
Got it?
Got it.
I don't have a note, so somebody make one. Okay. Looking then at number 5.
Change may to shall, just for ease of
that right terminology, Gail?
It's the new.
If you want to force something,
I do. Okay. Number 6. Here again, we're dealing with sound. I don't know, Todd, do you have that, we can put on the screen what we're doing here or not? We're not ready for that, are we? I'm sorry.
Well, we have a couple people online. I was hoping they may have come at the last meeting and have a hard copy.
Okay.
I
can
mean,
start.
I had feedback that I wasn't doing a very good job of keeping up on what was on the screen to what we were discussing.
Yeah, we had a lot.
I tried, but
Okay.
it's not like I can put a full page up.
Okay, so basically what we've been talking about is noise and vibration. That's the area that we're covering right now for those online. Okay, anything on number 6, bottom of page 8? It was my job to push this through, right? Okay,
I think that we need to see one of their facilities where they have demonstrated they can meet this ordinance.
where are you gonna put that in?
I don't know, put it somewhere in this section, though, I think. Maybe
Under
number
number
9.
8 or 9, under 9.
Let's see, because we do have 2 more on page 9, don't we?
Yeah,
well, if you're gonna make it restrictive, why not make it cover the entire ordinance? Instead of just
Oh,
sound.
that they demonstrate they can do everything in this.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well make it
Might as
cover
well
the
put it
entire
at the
thing.
end then, huh?
Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, look at number 7 on page 9.
Where is the setback measured from? Is it
It's
the
the
walls of
property
the building? No, I know that, but as far as the data center, what is considered the data center? And what is not considered the data center?
the actual building.
That's what I'm asking, is it the actual building?
No, it's the property line.
It's their property line.
You have to measure from something, so say we're
Yes.
working inbound from the property line, what are we measuring to?
We don't care.
The building?
We don't care where the inside of where the building is. It's from their property line to the resident's property line. The distance in between being the 1420.
So, let me keep going, I guess. This says, equipment shall not be located less than 750 feet from the property line. Is that considered the data center?
I think 7 will have to be redone.
Well, 7 is such equipment, right? Such equipment that is creating noise or vibration.
Yeah, so we're actually saying, hey, this generator is here, measure 750 feet. What about the rest of it? What about the building? What about the parking lot or the lights?
Right,
What are we measuring to?
so
I
whatever,
don't think we're measuring to. That would be like how much of the land they can actually build on. And the land maybe, that's variable. We don't know what size they're gonna buy and what size building they're gonna put on it. We will have to have a minimal area for screening and noise reduction. But as far as that, I mean,
But all
it
that,
could be all different sizes.
but all that has to happen within the 1420, right? It cannot go into that 1420.
No, it can't go beyond its property line into the 1420.
So that gets back to my question. If we're talking, say you got a square mile, and you've got 1 acre, I don't know, I'm just throwing out numbers here. You've got a 1 acre square inside of this 640 acres. You're measuring from that 1 acre square till
No,
whatever.
they're not. That doesn't come into it at all.
So
It's from the property line that they own to the property line of the
but you
residents.
just said
It's
if,
1,420.
okay, I get that. But if you're talking, that you just said that the equipment has to be within the boundary.
No, well, that, I'm saying 7 goes away. 7 doesn't make sense.
Okay, that's fine.
Taking 7 out? What I read 7 is saying is any equipment's gotta be 750 feet away from the property line.
That's how I read it.
Yeah, and I don't know that you're gonna have that distance all the time. And what exactly does that distance do for you?
It just gives you,
Gives you more distance.
Yeah.
It may reduce sound as well. It may make it easier for them to get to the sound number.
right, because it's
Right.
moving it away.
Yeah.
Does it hurt him to be in there?
So it just gets you, I mean, quarter mile's 1,340 feet, 20 feet. Gets you closer to that 14, like
Well-
you keep saying.
No, it extends the distance to the residents from 1,400 to 2,100 and some,
That's what I'm saying.
170.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but,
Gets the noise further away from them.
yeah, you know, if you've got residents on 4 sides, you're demanding a bigger area
Demanding they
for
buy
them
more
to
property.
buy. Yeah,
And I don't think that we want to do that. Yeah, with the setbacks and the things that we've already changed with noise and vibration, I agree, 7 does not make the sense to have on there.
You want it gone? We're an hour in and we've covered a page.
yeah, quit that.
I'm just
We reviewed 7.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but we started at 2.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the detail that, that we're putting into this. Okay, I do.
750, just inside their boundary seems too big. If you want to leave it, I think we got to come down to what would reasonably they need to do a berm and a fence that's also a sound enclosure type fence and screening of trees, shrubs.
300 feet of football field?
Is that still big? Is that,
Can you get
would we be okay with that?
okay, let's do 500.
500 is a lot. I was questioning 300 is too big.
Oh, you think 300 is too big?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'd rather hear from the rest of you. Too. What do you think?
Because we're requiring sound barrier at the property line. It doesn't take 300 feet to create a sound, like an earth berm, right?
No, but
So
it might take 100.
it might take 100.
It'll take 100.
Yeah, at least, I would think.
So,
Um,
2 or 300? 200, 300,
250.
250?
I think number 7 should be a bullet point of number 6 unless you're going to write out the description of what such equipment means. Since number 7 is referencing number 6, right?
Correct.
I think it should,
Should be 6A.
6A, yeah, something like that.
Got that, Todd?
Okay,
250,
7 is now 6A.
Yes,
and say 250.
250. And 8 is 7. Okay, we'll entertain any comments at this point from the public. You guys,
Hold on, did we talk about number 8?
Technically, no.
okay,
8 just reads like just a generic statement.
Yeah,
you make a problem with that?
I think it's too generic.
I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
statement.
It's,
Take it out?
take it out. There's no teeth to it.
Okay. 7's gone, we hit at 6A. Okay, public, we'll open up for any comments that you guys might have with what we've covered so far at this point, since we're now in.
Because my microphone died, so.
Good evening, I'm June Brown, I live in Sweetser. Thanks for working on this and being very thorough with it. I wasn't gonna speak today because I've had a lack of sleep, so if I get lost in my thoughts, please bear with me. I missed the first few minutes of the meeting, I will have to admit, so I was a little lost on a couple of things. It seems like, was there a minimum or a maximum size that the data center could actually be? Did I miss that part?
No.
No minimum square footage, no maximum square footage?
10 acres is the minimum and 100 acres is the
Okay, the
max.
size of the
Yes.
property.
Okay,
I
the
thought
size
you
of
meant
the property,
based
and
on
that's,
the
yeah.
actual
Okay,
equipment.
so there's a min max on the actual acreage size, okay. Thank you very much. I also am a little concerned with having them provide their own power. Because small nuclear reactors, if that's allowed, that creates another climate concern. They create, which power turbines, which you mentioned, those actually create industrial smog and chemical odors to nearby residents. So to me, that is probably more concerning than them being on the power grid, on the electrical grid. And then I'm just trying to, So, and then on page 6, you were talking about item 1, cooling and water use. And you want to take out everything except for closed loop. But I think that if you do that, you may be inadvertently eliminating something that could be developed in the future that could actually be better for the environment than just the closed loop. Other countries are better at cooling their systems than we are. They do it better, less environmental harm. So if you limit that to closed loop, that, in my opinion, could be a mistake.
So if we wanted to state and or other, what would be the criteria for the other that would be acceptable?
I think that would be, that would have to be, like a variance, and it would have to be approved by whatever committee you're using. And I think it would also need to be a public hearing held for the residents. Because like you stated, this is a big deal. there's a lot to think about. You got your residents, you got your land, you got your animals, you got your property values. You know, you've got your electricity grid, you've got your water, pollution. It's a lot. It's a lot. You guys are tasked with a really big job, and I'm really surprised there's not more people here to speak tonight. So
I think,
Wait,
I think if we leave, to June's point, an addendum could be made as technology advances if a better system than a closed loop system could come out in a year, 5 years. We could make the ABC could make an addendum to this to include that, correct? New system?
It'd be an amendment to the
Amendment,
ordinance.
okay.
It would
That's-
require
that's
APC
just assuming
to
it-
vote on that and the commissioners to approve it.
Assuming the
Yes.
better system doesn't exist already. My
Right.
friend who spoke at the last meeting, he's the expert. And he had some things to say about that.
it's a very controversial topic, and people are very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And
One of the
for
things
good
we were
reason.
thinking about in getting away from hooking up to the grid is there would be a lot of upgrades to the grid to handle a large data center. And it seems like our electric bills have already been going up enough. They seem to get passed to the people as well.
Getting a $3, $6 decrease according to Indiana, Michigan. So, you know, like, they gave it as a percentage that made it sound good, but it's like $3 or $6 depending on how many kilowatts you use. Okay, I got off task. So. So, page 7, number 9. For monitoring our own water. And they're gonna pay for it. How are we enforcing any infractions? Does the area plan then need to write an SOP for this particular item? So what if the water comes back bad? What do you do then? Who's enforcing it? How do you deal with it? Who's in charge of it? You guys may know the answers to that, I don't.
We haven't got there yet. No, we haven't got there yet in the draft that's currently written. This is literally just for the application process. These numbers are of what they have to do just to apply for a permit to build. We do get to enforcement later down the road on like page 33. So,
Okay, bear with me.
if that helps.
I'm not asking questions, I guess, I'm making observations based off of what's in here that concerns me. Page 8, noise and vibration. To your point, yes, there's different ways to measure, but you should be doing it to ANSI standards. It should be calibrated meter, and it should be ANSI standards, and that should definitely be in there.
Over the LEQ method.
That's something I learned working in a factory. When you test in the factory to keep people's hearing safe, you have to do it to ANSI standards. And you need to make sure that machine has been properly calibrated and certified each and every time it's done. You guys may know that. I don't know, sorry if I'm coming off wrong. And I don't understand the generator testing shall be limited. Okay, I understand that. But then you start talking about like maybe they're gonna run off of diesel. That is where I got a little bit lost. We don't definitely want them running off of diesel generators. That is extremely loud. Maybe that's because I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand that.
I don't think any developer would develop a data center to run strictly off of diesel generators. It would, the cost of it.
I get you.
Yeah, it's for emergency backup if the power goes down. They themselves would not choose that source of power.
And we can put emergency backup generator testing.
Yeah. I think some other places only allow it on certain days and times for the generator testing, and they have that specifically named in their ordinance. So it's not as broad as this. I think you can make it more specific so that residents would know, I only have to be alarmed 1 or 2 days a week instead of 5. Like, animals could be pretty sensitive to that. Maybe they don't want their pets out on those days at that time. And then also under, you talked a lot about the noise and vibrations, but there is something that I think that probably everyone in this room is aware of. There's, I didn't know the name of it until recently, but it's called infrasound. That is not picked up on any type of testing. It's inaudible, but it causes illness, anxiety, sickness, depression. It's a high frequency noise that you can't actually hear. Your body just feels it. If you bear with me, I can tell you, this is not like fake news or anything, it's real. And there's a lot of reports from people that are next to data centers that are already operating. It's inaudible but physically felt, low frequency vibrations, so it does affect animals as well. It bypasses standard decibel meters. There's no way to test for it. But it can be felt it can be heard, it can affect people 2.5 to 3 miles away. Sleep disturbances, headaches, vertigo, and nausea. So again, it's a heavy topic, it's a lot.
June, do you know how they test for that?
Well, I thought I was on to something, but I don't think there is any testing for it. It's more of a 2.5 to 3 miles away from a residence, and that's not where we're at with what you have proposed. So unfortunately, if you're gonna be within that 1/4 mile away, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be affected by that. I personally know that I would be affected by that, because I'm a sensitive person.
Is there something out there that says 2 to 3 miles is safe?
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 miles. It doesn't say it's safe, but says you could hear it for that far. You could feel it for that far. Like you might just feel like sick, nauseated, dizzy, but you don't know why.
I wonder if there's some studies from like mining communities, from blasting and things like that, that would be able to pull that kind of sound that we can reference and see.
Maybe we have to increase that distance from residents.
Yeah. You're talking about that low frequency, hard to detect sound
You can't test for it.
emitted constantly from these data centers.
Exactly.
Then they say you can feel it or hear it 3 miles away. But up to 3 miles away. But I read those articles too, and it's like, yeah, they don't have a meter that'll reliably detect that.
You can't,
So
you can't
It's
detect
kind of
for
hard
that.
to regulate too.
But unfortunately, the people that are within that range there might be a lot of people that just don't feel good.
Yeah.
A lot. So I think that's kind of everything that I had a note on and had a question on. Keep up the good work, guys.
Well, thank you for your input. We need all of it that we can get.
You're very welcome. Thanks for taking the time to listen, to consider.
Thank you.
I don't think we're gonna make it through 37 pages. Like,
Today.
the next 2 months.
We don't have to get there in 2 months, do we?
We got 6.
5,
5. We used one.
we've used one.
I'm sorry, can I come back up? I just have
Yes,
one more.
please.
Actually, Commissioner, actually signing the moratorium? Because that 6 months signed again. So that 6 months doesn't take effect until they sign it.
That's a good question. Is it when the APC adopted it or when the commissioners signed it?
What,
6
our resolution?
No,
The resolution was in
6 months.
effect the night we
Signed.
signed it.
The
And voted.
APC signed it.
The ABC, it didn't go to the commissioners, it doesn't have to go to the commissioners.
Right, because in 90 days it's law whether they sign it or not.
No, the APC resolution, the APC runs the APC office. So if the APC,
Oh, we're talking about 2 different things.
oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was on the
talking about the
moratorium.
moratorium.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
We
moratorium,
did.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think the moratorium's official.
we're good,
I thought
You
the
think it's
commissioners have to
official?
sign it.
yes.
I thought our resolution to hold
Our
applications is
resolution.
official.
Our moratorium resolution is official, right. The other is official, it's just weak,
Okay.
just legally weak. The
We-
office follows the APC. We report to the Area Plan Commission. You tell me something, I abide.
So the commissioners could extend up to a year. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
That's fine, that's fine. I had asked a question a while back, why couldn't we just say no? So I now understand that legally we can't do that, although I really don't understand why. I just know that we can't. But somehow Marshall County, Indiana has issued a permanent ban on data centers.
Yes, they did that in April.
How? And why can't we?
We can.
We
They're,
can't,
they're gonna get sued.
We can't, they're gonna get sued, is that what you said?
We can say no, and we're gonna get sued. It's just a simple fact.
Yeah, there's more legal standing in a strict ordinance than there is in an all-out ban,
Gotcha.
unfortunately.
Okay,
So this protects the county and the residents more than a flat saying, no, you can't come at all. So,
okay,
We're saying you can come under these conditions.
understood. Thank you for that clarification.
Other community members would like to share at this point? You guys are troopers. Thanks for staying with us. Okay, so where are we at?
G,
G, stormwater, environmental and hazardous materials. So committee members, do you have any notes on this? Nine.
on number 1, I know it says with county and state requirements, but I still think that the drainage board should review a stormwater management plan as they would with anything else, any business, not just a data center.
Okay. Want to word that? Gail?
Does that not fall under county requirements?
It does, I think, but I think it just needs to be very specific. And maybe instead of saying with county, it should be to be approved by the drainage board, according to county and state requirements.
So that goes to issuing an improvement location permit, a building permit. Again, we're going back to, this is questions for the application for the special exception. After you pass all of this, then it needs to go to, and if it passes the special exception, then it needs to get a building permit. And one of those basic, to build any kind of building in the county, is you go through the surveyor and ask if they are around any regulated drains. They're not gonna be building on top of it or within 75 foot of it.
Right.
So that's already
So it's
in line if you're gonna build
Okay.
anything or put a storage building up.
And it would be underneath the high impact zone,
Right.
is that right? There
Right.
are different requirements for that.
That we will, but that's another thing we can define.
Well, if that's the case, then number 5 is not needed.
Yeah, that's just a statement that automatically occurs.
So these are all things that they would put in their plan to present to the BZA. We want to see their plan for their parking lot and
Part of their application.
part of their application.
Yeah, you just said it. Does this also fall under what you just said about number 1? About the board requirements when you create any building in the county?
Well, as far as was stated was that there's a drainage board approval. We already get approval from the surveyor for that limited piece. This would be part of what they put into a plan to present to the BZA.
Any other comments on 1 through 8? So I think what I'm hearing you say, Todd, this is part of the application. We really don't want to take it out. We want them to provide this information as part of the application,
Right. And
correct?
so, and then one of the things for each and every one of these items that we put out, I'm going backwards a little bit here to in the way in which they cool with a closed loop system or where they get their electricity from. Each one of those things, the BZA will measure each one of those things by several measures. One is, will the proposed use be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, or substantially harm the neighbor's property values or uses? So that question for each BZA member will be posed to each one of these items.
And
That's why
can't
I
prove it.
say-
If they feel that,
That's right.
they
So
believe that, they can't accept it.
that's right. If they believe that any one of these pieces, like however they want to bring the electricity to it, I don't care. However they decide they want to do it, if the member believes that it proposes an injury to our community, they will vote no on that one item and the whole thing's dead. That's the way it's supposed to work in theory.
So we could be overanalyzing.
Some of it, I think. That's my opinion.
Okay.
On number 6, the word promptly to me left things open for interpretation. I mean, shall be removed from the site promptly. What is, my promptly may be different than someone else's prompt. Should we put a specific time frame instead of promptly for removal of construction debris?
What's reasonable?
Just take out promptly. Take out any time frame. Just say it has to be removed.
I don't like that, and the reason I don't like that is because then they could, I mean, it takes months potentially to build something like this, then they could technically have trash sitting there for months, construction debris that then a good windstorm comes through and blows a quarter mile, wherever. into someone else's yard.
You
for
make it a
them.
day, it could happen in 2 minutes.
It could. I agree with that for sure, but I do think that, there should be a time limit on that. I mean, 2 weeks.
Subcommittee members, thoughts?
I think that gets extremely difficult to try to enforce. They've got a dumpster of construction materials sitting there. They put the first one in 3 weeks before it's full, and then they have 2 weeks to get it removed. I mean, I don't know how we can sit here and define that.
Okay.
I think it'd be advantageous to them to keep their construction site clean regardless, but I don't know how we say that. In any kind of time restraint.
Is this under enforcement somewhere, Todd?
I think that would come under enforcement. We'd get a complaint. We'd go out, give them a notice, tell them to clean it up in 10 days,
Okay.
give them another notice, and that circle would happen. But we're dependent on enforcement at that point,
So,
which we've done.
so then if that's taken care of, then under enforcement, to Kale's point, does the work promptly even need to be there? And maybe I'm splitting hairs here. I very well could be. I just want to make sure that,
And it's like, if they're putting it in a dumpster, put a lid on it, it's not blowing all over the place, we're all good, and it can sit there on site until the dumpster's all the way full. We've had businesses that unpacking crates and so on, and
correct,
started from containers. The dumpster they had was completely overfull and started from flying all over the place, It's like, clean this up. You gotta at least put it in trash bags so it's not blowing across the interstate or the highway or something. And we've had good compliance with that.
right.
Okay. We leaving it, taking it out? Thoughts? We're gonna move to 7 then. Okay, basically what 7's saying is it's holds everybody responsible, so somebody doesn't say, well, that was their responsibility, correct?
That's right.
That's what that says. That's pretty simple. Number 8.
Here's where that, number 9 is where that piece starts coming in that we talked about early with the water of who's going to view and regulate that, and it says here the health department.
Grant County Health Department.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're good with 8, and we're good with 9. Now, Todd, on number 10, does it talk about when regulated drains, what the easement should be on both sides? Is that in there anywhere?
Our current overall ordinance is 75 foot
75 on each side.
on each side.
Okay.
It's larger for the solar.
I thought they increased it.
No, it's 75 foot.
Still 75.
I've been dealing with it the last 2 weeks, it's 75 foot.
What's that?
I've been dealing with it this
These
last,
last 2 weeks, live.
yeah, it's 75 foot.
Okay.
Is the standard, right? I'm sure there's places where they've given people variances
You talking about open ditch?
or regulated ditch, even if it's buried, right?
Any county regulated ditch, 75 on each side.
75 on each side of the top of the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
Confirmation.
Also on number 10, I had a note here, where it says, of the Day Center project shall be restored by the owner to a condition equal to or better than. Should it also, because there was other places where we put owner or operator, property owner, we listed all three of those definitions, the owner, landowner, or operator, because they may not all be the same individual.
Got it.
Anything else on number 10?
Also, where it says unless repair is rendered impractical by weather or other natural conditions,
Hey, Todd,
Oh, we go on.
your meeting's running out.
Thank you.
let me get back to my note, I'm sorry.
What are you proposing, Molly?
Equal or better to the pre-existing condition within 3 months after receipt of written notice of change unless repairs rendered impractical by weather. Okay, never mind.
We good?
Yep.
Number 11?
Yeah, what is indirect result supposed to be?
Unintended consequence of something they did.
Yeah, I think we want that in there.
I know, but like, give me an example.
Something they didn't do caused damage.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, what if they did not put up their erosion control fence and it eroded mud into the ditch, filling half full or something? That would be indirect, right? They didn't do what they should have done. It's an indirect consequence.
They didn't do it wrong.
They didn't.
They didn't do it.
It wasn't like they did something intentionally, they just didn't. It wasn't a direct consequence of their action.
I think it's good. Number 12.
Again, on the, well, never mind.
Everybody go with 12?
I'm not comfortable with letter of credit. The finance is not, I didn't do a deep dive, but I've been involved in others.
So how do you want it?
And people aren't happy with letters of credit. What does that mean, and does that stand up?
So what do you want?
Take it out. Just
Take it out.
take out letter of credit.
Yeah. I mean, is a letter of credit me writing down that I'll pay you $1 million if something happens and I don't have it?
It's notarized.
Or other financial assurance. You okay with that one?
That's not in there, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Well-
That's right after letter of credit, yeah.
Yeah.
You're okay with it or not okay with it?
Well,
I think if we're
again,
not,
this is not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Are there other things that they can do that would be
Other than
acceptable
this,
to the
yeah.
BZA? Again, there's another level of review for this.
Yeah.
So we're leaving it in there just in the event that there's something else that the BZA could consider.
Right.
Okay,
That's up to you, though.
you guys good?
yes,
13.
I think it should be 45 days, not 30 days.
Okay, 45, no problem there. Anything else on 13?
Yeah, I got a problem with substantial evidence.
What do you want?
I don't know, but substantial will mean different things to different people. It should,
Is that under the discretion of the drainage board? Is that the way it reads?
Take it out.
Huh?
I mean, it's gonna have to be, they're gonna have some evidence or they'll get sued, you know?
yeah, but
Right.
if you're putting a limit on it, what does substantial mean?
Right.
So it needs to be based on evidence of damage.
Or just take that out.
Just take that out.
Yeah,
Just take out based on substantial evidence and just caused by the project,
Okay,
period. That work?
yep, 15.
Should add landowner in addition to the owner and operator, should also be like common landowner.
You want landowner first for last?
It doesn't matter.
Now, come on, it's your choice.
Just put it in after operator.
Okay.
Property owner. That's the
Yeah.
terminology we're using.
Property owner.
All right. Okay. Would the audience like to, or the community, would they like to express any thoughts on page 10? We got through that one. Okay.
I do have a couple,
Okay,
sorry.
please.
I wasn't even gonna talk. You guys might know the answer to this, and maybe you can help me out. Okay, number 10, recycling, property shall be restored by owner to a condition equal to or better than pre-existing condition within 3 months after. What if they go bankrupt? What if they sell it? Is there conditions on which they could make a transfer from one company to another? Do you require a new contract if they sell it from one company to another?
Is there a notification of being sold like there was in solar?
Yeah,
Is it in
there
here?
it
There
is.
is.
It's in here. It's a little different though. And that, I think in here, it's just,
number
they
12.
kind of notify us that they are selling.
I don't know if we go down that road,
In
but
solar, it's we approve the sale.
number 12 gives us the security barn or other financial,
We haven't got there, we haven't got there.
assurance. No,
No.
so you're talking about 10, then it's a very good point. And then 11 and 12, 12 is saying that there's gonna be money in the bank someplace that we can draw upon to make these fixes.
Well, I
I think
think,
what June's saying is if it,
what if they go bankrupt? Then who's on the hook for the cleanup? How do you
That's
cover
what
that?
bonds for.
We should
That's what the
still have
bond's
the
for.
bond in our
Okay.
control.
Okay, so who determines how much the bond needs to be to cover the cleanup? How do you determine that up front? So that you have enough to clean it up.
That's a BZA board decision.
Okay. Okay, I got one more thing on this page.
and we do have transfer of ownership notification in here.
Notification, but do you have to approve it? What if it's
We
a
can
foreign, what if it's a Chinese-owned company and,
We could do
We
that.
could pull the
You
same
don't
one
wanna
out of
approve
the
them.
solar ordinance where it must be approved by the county.
do you think it should be approved by the county?
I think it should be. I think there's some sales we might want to prevent.
I think that would be an excellent thing to add.
Okay.
And then, I get you don't want a letter of credit, but by leaving or other financial assurance in there, you just open it back up to a letter of credit.
But it has to be acceptable to the county.
But does the county know that they don't want a letter of credit? I think it should say anything, other than a letter of credit. And that a letter of credit is not accepted because in 5 years from now, none of you guys might, the same people might not be here and they might not have a clue that y'all didn't think letter of credit was a good idea. So I'm saying, I think it should be excluded so that in the future, people don't take it. Because a letter of credit is about as good as a mortgage pre-approval. It can be, it's worthless pretty much at times. Don't So I'm with you. I don't think you should take a letter of credit, but I think you need to make it so you can't. And that, is that,
Number 12,
yeah,
Yeah.
Just add that sentence in. Or where it says, or other financial assurance, excluding a letter of credit.
excluding a letter of credit.
okay?
That would take care of that. So that they don't try to give you a worthless piece of paper. Thank you for your time again.
You're welcome, thank you. Anyone else from the public like to speak? Okay, did you get that, Secretary?
Yep.
Okay. So we are ready for number 11. We have 14 minutes.
So including in number 15 where we said property owner, there's a second piece there that says owner or operator. Just should also include property owner, I think,
Okay,
just to make consistency. Same thing in number 16.
top of page 11
Yes.
and on number 16. Okay, so we are on page 11 and we are still under stormwater, environmental and hazard materials. We made corrections to 15 and 16 for property owner added to it.
Can we extend on number 17 from 3 miles to 5 miles from FEMA or DNR floodplain?
We can?
That's gonna be,
Is that gonna be difficult?
that's gonna be difficult.
What do we have in solar?
3.
3.
And I don't know if we have FEMA or DNR floodplain. It might have been Major Creek and Mississauga River and flowing spring well, but maybe you can find it.
Do we have a map of known springs?
We got floodplain maps somewhere.
Here are floodplain maps. The flowing spring wells, don't think we have a map of that. Not that I'm aware of. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
So what happens if we approve it and then they start construction, they open one up?
Look at all the water they have.
Something bad underwater source.
Yeah,
Could happen.
could
I
happen,
got one on one of my farms.
right? It could happen.
I think it's theirs. If they got that far, I don't know what we can do about it.
Do we want to go to 3 or 5?
Would moving it, well, even at 3 miles, is that going to make it so restrictive that they can't build it anywhere in the county? Is that map accurate as far as
The FEMA DNR.
rivers, creeks?
Oh,
Major named creeks, what,
And does that include a ditch that constantly runs from field
yeah.
field drainage?
Can you change it to
what
all
is
waterways?
defined major name?
I think your very good point is major named creek, that should probably be just named creeks. And of course, what we don't have is the county drains.
What'd you say, bud?
Miles away from county drains,
All
is that what
waterways.
we're looking at?
Just
There's
change it
a
to
lot
all.
of county drains.
You don't want to include county drains, just keep it at the
Well,
75 feet.
I guess there's, I think something.
There's a lot of county drains.
There's a point at which it does become impossible.
Yeah.
Just looking at this map, can you show me a 3 mile radius from any, I guess it would be a 1.5 mile radius from any water feature?
I think they exist from the FEMA and DNR floodplain maps. We could find that out.
I'm just looking at this and I
Are
don't,
these all named creeks here?
Probably.
That's kind of what I was thinking they have here is the named creeks.
that may be just too restrictive on its space.
And the river. I mean, there's a lot of just named creeks there too.
Okay, let's pause for station identification here and figure out the wording before we figure out the distance. So are we taking out major and just leaving it as named creek? Or are we going to Bud's point and putting in all waterways or any natural flowing spring well?
Well, if we're gonna say all waterways, wouldn't that not include open air ditches?
Yeah, where they gonna drain to? And you're basically restricting drainage of any kind. Is that true?
Yeah, well, we were assuming there's not gonna be much drainage other than the roof and parking lot. We
Which
probably
could be
require
very
some
significant,
ponds
though.
For those.
Retention
So
ponds.
We're demanding an earthen berm and a fence above that. So to make that, you need to make some ponds. That's gonna take your water from the roof and at least slow it down going to the ditch. It's gonna pretty much get there anyway, right?
So so we're not gonna say all waterways, we're just going to say named creek. Take out the word major.
Yes,
Okay,
we're only 3 miles there.
and leaving 3 miles,
Yes. I want to line itself with the solar ordinance.
okay?
If you, just another small thing, if you want to back up for a second, in the solar ordinance, it's only acceptable for a 5A surety bond in amount to be determined by the drainage board, payable to the drainage board to address damage.
So it doesn't even include financial or other financial.
Include
insurance.
other or letter of credit.
The bond is the most secure, correct?
Yes,
Out of
well,
any-
5A is the most secure rating.
Are we good with taking that out?
No problem.
On 12,
We're on page 10, number 12. We're taking out all other financial assurance.
and so then we don't even need excluding a letter of credit, because we're only going to accept that bond.
Correct. Okay, back to 11. We're gonna try and we got 7 minutes. We're gonna try and get to H on page 12 if we can, folks. So
Okay.
we're moving from 18 to 23, left on page 11.
On number 20, on page 11, this is just a question, I'm assuming is it the drainage board or the APC that would oversee that erosion control plan?
That would be, the area plan
Okay,
and water
water
conservation, soil and water conservation.
okay. So do we do not need to specify that directly? Or is that just being too much? That's the board that handles it?
He's got NRCS, which is the soil and water.
Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay. Just making sure.
And so along with some of these things is they'll put a plan together for the BZA review. And of course, we gotta get the zoning also. But then they actually have to have all these permits that they say they're going to get through all these agencies before
They come to
a
you.
building
Right.
permit, right?
So the first step is determine where a high impact area is for them even to do anything before
Right.
they.
Apply for the special exception. And then they're gonna put all these things together with engineers and environmentalists, economists,
Okay.
Okay.
as a one large package before the board. And then all their promises have to come true and show them their plan before they get a building permit.
Everybody okay with, 21? You said applicable permits at the end of 22, that's good, because we do have a grading permit.
22 may needs to be changed to shall.
Yes.
Improvement shall be performed. Okay. Anything else on page 11? All right, page 12, we've got a little bit there left.
I would like to see the vegetative cover to, just from a natural resources standpoint, to, that it does not include invasive species to any year. Because we all know what happened with the Bradford pears that every builder built, so.
So vegetative cover excluding invasive species.
Correct.
I wonder, is there a DNR approved list?
Probably,
from?
yeah, there is.
I mean, we could point them, we can either exclude or include, tell them where to go. I'm sorry, didn't mean to come out that way. Tell them where to go, or, you know, what to exclude. Either way, so I'll put it in there as what to exclude at this
Yeah,
point, and we'll
That's
see.
fine.
how it goes.
Yeah, it could be, shall be stabilized with, IDNR or DNR, approved natural species
Mhm.
list.
Grass.
Technically, the grass we have is European, it's actually an invasive species. So,
Let's not exclude grass.
Okay, everybody okay at 24? Okay, so we can start with letter H in our next meeting. So we ended. Subcommittee members, I want to extend my appreciation for your efforts here on this.
Are we not gonna have public comment for what we just did?
We are going to have public comment. Yes.
And can we set next meeting or discuss next meeting? I know I confirmed it to this board, but I've had other discussions on how fast and often we want to have meetings. And I'd like to be able to set this, confirm that I have this room. And so I'd like to get on some kind of regular schedule, not only for us and scheduling a room, but for the public.
Well, I guess subcommittee members, the question is, when do you want to meet? How much time? I mean, I'm drained. How much time do we need in between meetings?
We don't have a June APC meeting, correct?
We do not have a June 8th meeting next Monday, but we have a BZA
We
meeting.
do have a BZA meeting. I'm in for one a month.
You guys want to do more than one a month?
Yes, I wanna get this over with. I don't wanna drag this out all the rest of the year. At this rate.
Has it been 2 weeks right now?
Probably.
2 weeks since our last meeting.
2 meetings, 12 pages.
But I think we'll get,
how about this? Why don't we schedule the next one according to what the email had already stated. And then revisit it then, see how far we get at that next meeting. Because I think we got farther today than we did the last time.
That proposed.
Next week, right?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. And I got,
Let's at least
You
see
know,
if we can
positive.
get through the application, or,
yeah,
I don't know, I didn't think it was that quickly.
I'm looking for your guidance. I just want to get ahead
I'd
of the
like it
game.
2 weeks between at least.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it done by the end of November.
Let's go see if you can get the Wednesday 2 weeks from now.
June 10th.
So I think that ends up mid-month. It might be the county council on Wednesdays.
Yeah, the third Wednesday of the month for county council.
This is third Wednesday.
Second one.
Yes, so that's, the 10th is the second
Okay.
Wednesday.
You could do the 10th probably.
Let's do the 10th.
Take off the month of July.
10th of
June.
June.
Yeah.
How'd you know I put 7/10 down?
I didn't.
Okay. And we're gonna take out and not meet month of
So we're not
July?
gonna decide that now. We'll
Okay.
see how we go.
Okay.
Okay, we will open to public discussion, any items associated with data centers. Not necessarily anything on the draft, but anything anybody has to say in regard to data centers. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Oh.